Hey, what's up, everybody? This is John Big Dog Wagner coming at you. I know I've been blowing you up with some videos. I got this one, and I got one more I want to do. First off, on this one, I want to send a shout out to my wife. I love you, baby. I told y'all she supports me in everything. And I just found out yesterday because I got in trouble. She watches my videos too. Yeah, my eye was messed up because I wear contacts. And if any of you guys wear contacts, you know sometimes it's like that contact fuses to your eye and it's hard to get out. And I'm very bad about taking my contacts out. I'm the first to admit it. I'm very bad about taking my contacts out. So I found out that she watches my videos because yesterday she fussed at me about my eye being red and not taking my contact out. And of course my first comment was, "You watch my videos?" And she's like, "Yeah, I check them out." I said, "Cool, I didn't know that." So, but yeah, my eye wasn't red because I didn't take it out. It was red because I did. And I had a hard time getting it out. So I guess I ended up scratching my eye or something and it caused some discomfort. But I took them out again last night, did my eye drops and shit, some contacts. It's all good now. But yeah, I've been hitting you guys with a lot of videos. I got one more I want to do that people have been asking about after this one, and then I'm gonna lay low for a little bit. But this one, I've been hearing a lot of people talking about different aspects in which they feel like Super Ego is scamming them. Super Ego is taking advantage of them. Now again, I can't speak on nobody else's experience. I can only speak on mine. As you guys have heard me say, I drove for two companies before I drove for Super Ego. I will never drive company again. Ever. Just like I will never drive teams, I will never drive company again. For me, driving for company is a scam. For me. I can only speak on my experience. The first company I drove for actually ended up putting me in a predicament. They wanted me to drive teams or to be a mentor. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not driving solo. I had already seen in the trucking world about people's bad habits. Me, myself, I try to take a shower every 2 to 3 days. Sometimes because you're running hard or whatever, that doesn't happen. But if I get to the point that I can smell myself, oh, nah, I don't care what's going on. I'm getting in the shower. Well, we've all been to truck stops and we can smell other dudes because they ain't showering. They go to the back room and not only, if you walk in the stall behind them, not only do you smell the smell from them relieving themselves, but they also got the smell from that jock jam. And that to me is just disgusting. Nope. You think I want that in my truck? Nope. Also, we've all been at truck stops, see people with trash all piled up everywhere. Nope. So I won't drive teams. Not to mention that there ain't no space for two people as far as I'm concerned. So with this company, because I wouldn't drive teams, they was trying to find a way to get rid of me. I ended up getting pulled over for a random inspection because I didn't stop for a brake check. And I'm like, wait a minute, brake checks ain't mandatory. Nowhere in the books are they mandatory. So the cop was telling me, well, here they are. I was in Utah. Here they are. So he gave me a full inspection. I passed the inspection, whatever. He didn't even cite me for not stopping at the brake check. So I turned it into my fleet manager, like I'm supposed to. Hey, I got stopped. This is why he said he stopped me. Blah, blah, blah. Here's the report. Next thing I know, I'm being let go. They're like, yeah, you got CSA points from this. You got 27 CSA points. And they did me a fucking form and everything that they emailed me to show me that I had 27 CSA points. I called my fleet manager. I'm like, what the hell is this? He's like, I don't know. Let me find out. So he checks on it, and he's like, yeah, you're being let go. He goes, I don't understand it. I don't know where this is coming from. He's like, I read the report. You ain't getting nothing on there, so I don't know what's going on. But supposedly they let me go because of CSA points. Okay? I get home. My wife is smart. My wife is smart. Why she's smart. So I told her what happened, and she's like, bullshit. So she starts going on websites trying to figure out what's going on with these CSA points. And she finds out website FMCSA, and she's putting their information in every which way she can. And she's not coming up with nothing. Meanwhile, I'm calling other trucking companies trying to get work. And left and right, I'm hearing, well, we don't hire nobody with CSA points. So I start asking questions. Are there any companies that deal with CSA points? And they're like, yeah, there's second chance companies out there. Here's one. Check them out. So I checked them out. And they're like, yeah, we'll bring you one. So I go through the process. I get to orientation. The guy calls me in. And he's like, we got to have a talk. And I'm thinking, oh, shit. So he's like, first off, your wife is right. We checked the system. You ain't got no CSA points. You ain't got none. But what we don't understand is that they put on your record that you were a reckless driver and you have accidents. However, we run your record and you got nothing on your license that says you've ever been in an accident. I said, that's because I've never been in an accident. Well, they put on here that you're a reckless driver and you've been in accidents. So basically, they tried to blackball me from the trucking industry. Now, you want to talk about scandalous. You know what I mean? So I had to get with a mentor for a minute to prove that I could drive. Mentor sat up front with me for about 30 minutes and he hit the rock. And I'm like, aren't you supposed to be up here? He's like, man, you can drive. He's like, I don't know what the fuck they tripping. So obviously he signed me off and I got my own truck. They tried to get me to run teams and I'm like, nah, I don't do teams. And they're like, well, either you're a team or you're a mentor. So I said, hell with it, I'll be a mentor. I ain't gonna be no team. But to be a mentor, you gotta go through a 6-month process, 7-month process, whatever, as a solo to prove that you can actually drive. So I was like, cool. I end up solo anyway. And in this company, I mean, let's be real, they're a second chance company. Most guys that are going to them don't have a choice. They burned me on my pay left and right. And the final straw, I was down for a week. My truck was acting up, regen issues. They wanted the petrol to fix it. The petrol couldn't fix it. The petrol told them it was a dealer item. For 3 different days, they kept calling the petrol. Take a look, take a look, take a look. The petrol kept telling them, it's a dealer item. We can't do nothing about it. Finally, that following Monday, they had it towed to a dealership. Meanwhile, they trying to get me picked up to drive on another truck with somebody else until my truck was ready. I'm like, nah, I ain't stupid. I get on that other truck, when that truck is ready, y'all gonna send another team to come pick up my truck with all my stuff in it, and I'm gonna be stuck on another truck. That ain't gonna happen. So they're like, all right, cool, but we ain't paying for your hotel no more. I'm like, y'all ain't paid for my hotel since I've been here. Being truthful. So when my truck was finally ready, I picked it up, I got back on the road. I should have had detention pay for a week. I never got it. They tried to give me some song and dance, saying that it was on there, trying to say I was being paid by the mile. And they didn't run. I didn't run very many miles, and that's why I got the pay that I got. And I'm like, nah, y'all been paying me by the hour. Y'all supposed to be paying me by the mile, but y'all been paying me by the hour. No, this time, this is what we did. So I called payroll. Payroll's like, nah, you ain't got no detention pay. Your manager didn't tell us to pay you detention pay. So I never got my detention pay. On top of that, this company towed my Escalade out of the employee lot, saying that my car was blocking somebody else in, and my tags weren't registered with the company. I'm like, my tags are registered with the company. The problem is I had personal plates, and my personal plates had an O on them, and they ran it with a 0. Well, anybody who knows about personal plates in California, you can't do a 0 on your personal plate. But they said they told me because I blocked somebody in. Well, I was in an actual space. Dude parked in the area that was not a space, and then somebody else parked in that same area that's not a space, causing him to be blocked in. But I was in an actual space. So I had to get my vehicle out the impound, and they didn't reimburse me for that. I told them, punch in this plate. Oh shit, you are registered. Yeah, no shit. So my experience with company, they fired me for having CSA points when I didn't have any. The other one didn't pay me like they were supposed to. I wasn't reimbursed for my downtime when the truck was in the shop. And they impounded my vehicle wrongfully and didn't reimburse me for that. But company's supposed to be the way to go. Not for me. Not for me. So let's get into the issues that they talk about with Super Ego. They say Super Ego scams you on the fuel. They charge you more than what you're paying for the fuel. They don't pass on the fuel discount, whatever. Well, when I look at my statement, and I look at what they're charging me for fuel, and I primarily fuel at Love's. If I don't fuel at Love's a few times, I fuel up at a TA or a Petro. On both of the apps, the TA Petro app and the Love's app, you've got your receipts. Whether you collect a hard copy or not, your receipts are on the app. And whenever I verify what's been taken out with the receipts on my app, they match. So whatever I paid at the pump is what's being deducted from my check. Now, as far as should we be getting a discount or should we be getting a whatever, I don't know. If we're not getting it, that means the company's not getting it, because the same thing I pay at the pump, I verify with my receipts, and that's what I'm being charged. The next thing they say is they're being overcharged for repairs. Well, I get all my paperwork for my repairs. I get everything. And I call and I find out prices, and I get everything. When I have to get a repair, I have conversations with my fleet manager. So I can tell you that what I'm being charged for repairs is what I paid. Like, for example, I just had a fan clutch replaced. I know the fan clutch, the price is $3,500. I know the labor was $1,000. I went back and forth with my fleet manager because he was trying to find a cheaper price, because he's like, that's kind of high for a fan clutch. Well, typically fan clutches can be rebuilt. They can take it apart, they can replace the bad part and put it back together. And those fan clutches are cheap. Turns out, from my particular vehicle, it can't be rebuilt. It's a solid unit. So as my fleet manager was trying to find cheaper prices, blah, 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 he did find a cheaper price, but it was only cheaper by $100. And by the time that, you pay for a delivery service, blah, 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 ends up being more expensive. So you're just going to go ahead and authorize TA to get the part, etc. So, oh, by the way, if my wife decides to chime in with the FMCSA, yeah, if she decides to chime in, she can verify that as well. So, what I'm being charged for my repairs, I can match up with all the receipts that I have. I won't leave. If I get a repair done, I won't leave without a hard copy. I won't. So I have receipts for everything. And I'm always on the phone. Like I told you, I call to get authorizations. I call to verify everything. I'm always on the phone. If you're not doing that, that's on you. This is your business. Why aren't you doing it? Now, where I did have a problem with the repairs is that their payback is rough. I'll be the first to admit it. I get a $3,000 payout, and I'm getting $1,000 because $2,000 went to the repairs. And I used to call my fleet manager. I'd be like, dude, can you talk to payroll? Don't let them gouge the hell out of my check this time. Can you? Well, recently, and I finally got everything paid off. I was good to see that. I was happy to see that final payment. I was like, hell yeah. Oh, shit. Well, recently, going through Nebraska, I had a deer jump out in front of me last minute. Nothing I could do. I had to replace the radiator, I had to replace the condenser, I had to replace the AC system, I had to replace the headlight assembly, as well as the bodywork, fenders, new bumper, etc. So now I'm back in the hole. On top of that, I had to replace the tires, and the fan clutch went out. The fan clutch total repair is $4,500. So I'm back in the hole. I'm back to calling my fleet manager, hey, don't let them gouge the hell out of my check. So finally my fleet manager tells me, he goes, why don't you just contact payroll? And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, contact payroll. Just talk to them direct. I'm like, all right. So I contact payroll. I recently got a new payroll officer, which I didn't know. Found out when I contacted him. And I'm telling him my story. I'm like, yeah, y'all are hard on that payback. Y'all are destroying my check, destroying my payout on that payback. And he tells me, he's like, well, why didn't you ever call and get a payment arrangement? What? I never knew nothing about the payment arrangement. So he sends me an email while we're on the phone, and the email has all the details for payment arrangements, for repairs and things like that. And if you agree to a payment arrangement, your weekly payout for the payment arrangement is between $800 and $1,000. He's looking at my history while I'm reading the email, and he's like, "You're right. They've been gouging the fuck out of your checks." He goes, "So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to submit a payment arrangement for you, and it's going to be for the minimum weekly amount until everything is paid off." So with my payment arrangement, I pay $800 a week. He's like, if for some reason you don't have the amount and your payout, then they won't take anything out. But if you got the amount and your payout, then they'll take out the $800. And that's all they'll take out. So I'm like, all right, cool. So for those of you who already work for Super Ego or are dealing with the same thing that I dealt with, where they're gouging the hell out of your check because of the payback for the repairs, now you know. Call your payroll officer and get a payment arrangement. So that's what I did. You know what I mean? Is the company perfect? There are things I don't like about the company. Like, I understand the drivers are the ones that mess the trucks up. I understand that there are a lot of drivers out there, when they get issues with their trucks, they don't put them in the shop because they don't want the payment taken out of their statements to fix the trucks. And they drive until they're stuck on the side of the road. Then they trade their truck in and get another truck. I don't like that they're able to do that. And I don't like the fact that when a truck comes in, the company doesn't fix it. They pass on those problems to the next driver. I already did a video on that, so you guys know. Forewarned. Other than that, everything on the company, everything I deal with the company, from brokers to repairs to fuel, everything I deal with the company is forthcoming. Everything's exposed. Everything I can get access to. Everything I can verify. Maybe it's different for me because I'm on the phone with them all the time. You're running a business. If you're not on the phone with them, something wrong. In my opinion. If you're running a hot dog stand, you on the phone with your supplier, you on the phone with you on the phone. If you're not on the phone, in my opinion, something wrong. And if you don't know what the prices are, if you don't know what you're paying, if you don't know, then in all honesty, how do you know if they're taking advantage of you or not? You don't even know what you was charged to begin with. Being honest. But you're going to make a video that they're scamming me because they charging me all this and they charging me all that. When you don't even know what you was being charged to begin with. And how can I say that with confidence? Because just like every time I put my shop in for repair, and they're like, "Oh man, Floyd, Super Ego, y'all take forever to verify your stuff." And I asked for the paperwork. Oh, really? Normally you guys don't ask for that. I'm not the normal driver. I want my paperwork. And I found out that sometimes there are some places where you get the repair where the receipt doesn't have the numbers on it. And they're like, "Well, that's a confidentiality between us and the company and blah, blah." Oh, really? I get on the phone. Let this dude know that I can know the numbers. And they'll tell him, "Yeah, he's authorized to know the numbers, he's authorized to know what's paid. And they'll give me a different receipt, or they'll write the numbers down on the receipt, so I know what I'm paying. But most times I get the repairs done, the numbers are on there. So when I'm being charged, I can match the numbers up, and they match up. When I get my statements about the fuel that's being taken, I'm being charged for, I go right to my app, and I match the numbers up, and they match up. This last time, for my last statement, I was wondering why my payout was so low. I looked, turns out I had $3,000 in fuel. I'm like, damn, okay, so I messed up on my qualifying my loads this past week. Because normally my fuel is right around $2,000, but I know that the runs that last statement was for, I had a lot of heavy loads. So that was the consequence of a lot of heavy loads. I paid a lot of fuel. I had $3,000 in fuel. So my payout was $1,000 less than what I was expecting. And that's the reason why. So that's on me. That's my fault. As I told you guys, my wife, she supports me in everything. And is she happy that I'm an over-the-road trucker? Yeah, what wife would be? But I did promise that, once my truck is paid off, I'll find a local route, I'll find a regional route so that I can be profitable. As it is, I'm about to head home now. I was home last week. I'll be home again this week. As I told you guys, you run the way you want to. You dictate where you want to go. This run I deliver in Arizona Monday morning. If I can get a run from Arizona to California, cool. If I can't, I'll deadhead. I know to go to Ontario is 350 miles. I know to go to San Diego is a little bit less than that. I'll deadhead home and I'll give me a fat run out of California. I was just home last week, as you guys know. I'll be home again this week. You dictate where you want to go. When I go home, my wife is happy. If I end up getting a week or two that I can't go home, my wife gets on the airplane. In fact, she found this Frontier Pass that we're going to start using pretty soon, where you can fly anywhere Frontier flies. All you got to pay is the taxes. This Frontier Pass costs like $600, $700. And as it is, my wife is good at finding deals. There's been a couple times where she found flights out and flights back for $100. But on average, we're spending about $500 on a round trip. So basically, for almost the cost for the Frontier Pass, there's a round trip for us. So it's worth it. It's worth it. So we'll start using that here pretty soon. All we gotta do is pay the taxes and we'll just renew that. But because I can dictate where I want to go and I can dictate where I want to run, as long as the money's good, I'm coming home every week. I'm on my way home again, another $8,000 week. $8,000 gross. Actually, I'm a little over $8,000. So the point to this video is, again, you work for yourself. Being that you work for yourself, you need to be involved in every aspect of your business. If you're not qualifying your loads, you don't know what you should be making at the end of the week to begin with. If you're not verifying what you're paying in fuel, you don't know what your fuel cost is supposed to be for the week. If you're not verifying the fees for the repairs and things like that, you don't know what should be taken out of your check. But yet you're going to be loud and proud about the company is scamming because you think you paid too much. Again, you're not being honest. If you were being honest, you're like, wow, I think they took a lot of fuel out. I think it took a lot of, but honestly, I don't know because I didn't check it. If you're being honest. And as far as being scammed, if a company is going to let you go for something that's not true, and they're going to put on your record stuff that didn't happen, if a company is going to lie about what they're paying you, and they're not going to reimburse you what they should be reimbursing you, who's the ones that are scamming? I mean, being honest, who's the ones that are doing the scamming? That first company tried to destroy my trucking career on lies. Let me go on a lie. And tried to destroy my career on lies. That second company straight up lied to my face about paying me and what they were paying me, even though I already knew it was a lie. As far as those things with this company, I got full transparency. I know everything that's going on. But one of the reasons why I know everything that's going on is because I make those phone calls. I cross my T's and I dot my I's. I know what my costs are. I know what I'm paying. I know what's coming out. Now everybody says, for example, you should be getting a discount on fuel. Whether they get a discount on fuel or not, I don't know. I know what I pay at the pump, and I verify what I pay at the pump. And I verify what they take out on my statement. If I'm in Amarillo, Texas, and I stopped at a Love's and it says $585, when I get my statement, it says Amarillo, Texas, $585. I go to my receipt, Amarillo, Texas, $585. They took out what they were supposed to. They took out what I paid. They took out what I was charged for my fuel. It matches. So because it matches, how are they charging me more than what they should be charging me? Which is what you hear a lot of guys loud and proud are saying on these videos. I know that when I got my air system replaced, my compressor cost $5,000. I know that the airlines and stuff that had to be replaced cost another $800. I know the labor was another $3,500. So I paid almost 10 grand to replace my air system. That's what I was charged. I know that the average tire to get it replaced is $300 plus labor. I verify what they're charging me. That's what they charge me. But if you don't know the numbers, you don't know what you're being charged, how can you sit there and honestly say that you're being scammed? And when I meet up with guys, I run into guys, I talk to them about it, and they're like, man, you know, this, that, and the other, and I'll ask them, have you matched your receipts with your statements? You filled up at Love's. Break out your last statement and let's match it with your statement. No, I ain't got time for all that. Well, if you don't got time for all that, then how do you know if you're being scammed or not? How do you know if they're overcharging you or not? Do you even write down what you're paying for fuel so that you can match that with your statement? See what I'm saying? fill out, every time I get a statement, okay, it says I filled up at Love's in El Paso, Texas. I go to my Love's app, okay, El Paso, Texas. This says $527. This says $527. So I'm paying what I paid. I'm paying what they paid. It matches. So if you guys aren't doing that, you need to start. Match everything up. When you get a repair, get a receipt. Match everything up. So that way you know what's being taken out. And if you are overcharged, you can call them up. Be like, hey, this says that you took $700 out in El Paso, Texas for fuel, but I got a receipt showing I only paid $527. Oh, our mistake. We'll reimburse you. But if you don't do it, then you don't know. You know what I mean? When you do your repairs, get your receipts. Find out the numbers. So when you call up payroll and you're like, yeah, how much am I in debt for repairs? And they give you a number, you can look at your receipts and you can match those receipts up with the number that they give you. And if you owe a lot of money, call up your payroll department. You can get on a payment plan. That way they're not gouging the hell out of your checks. All right. So that's that. I recently had somebody ask me about the lifestyles, or what my lifestyle is while I'm trucking. How do I manage to stay so positive? Because there's a lot of depression in the trucking industry, and there is. So I'm gonna do another video on that, and then after that video, I'm gonna take a break from a while. All right. So y'all be safe out there. Make your money. Much love to my wife. I know she's probably gonna be watching this. And I'll see you guys next time.